大家好，我是方糖，欢迎来到我的实况。好，我们今天要来继续玩我们的洞穴的囚徒，也就是我们的第5章节的后半段的啦。我们就直接开始啦。我们今天应该会过得蛮快的，今天实况的部分。因为后半段虽然是不知道有多短，但是如果是依我们第5章的长度的话，第4章的长度到23，也就是说我们只剩下差不多9个章节那里，今天可能1个小时或1个半小时我们就会结束了。哎，我们的前面要先过的小章节，堵截逃兵，面具脑袋又想从真理的课堂上逃走。拦住他们
I believe my sword sharp. So long lives this, and this gives power to me.
It seems to be mixed up. This should be fine, right? Bodyguards! Where are the bodyguards?
It's alright. I believe in you.
Ta-da! Time for a special assault. Need me to get
Sempre caro mi su questa gole. I believe in you. So long lives this, and this gives power to me.
Hey! Don't be shy, mi amigo.
他们终会明白数学的美妙。数学革命将数学牢狱改造成艺术乌托邦。好，我们第16这是算小章节啊，第16章应该是讲 Part 6啊。与日终身，终其而言，天气预报员从来不止一位。
What? What am I looking at? So your so-called sacred project is this gigantic IDM computer?
新 T 已经熟练地打量起机器来。
I was curious about them during my stay in Laplace. Those later versions of the model are so much better than the 66 ones. But this one doesn't seem that far advanced to those. This is not a junk piece the man has sold you, is it?
Items of the phenomenal world are all a waste. This one is long broken. After the emanation, we couldn't find anyone to repair it.
Why do you keep referring to the storm as the emanation? What does the emanation mean?
It is the waves of Numa. We are the expellees of the world of forms. We were banished to this damp and dark cave. Everyone here is obsessed with the fake light on the wall, but forgets to look for the truth. Numa, however, will lead us to escape the cave and return to a more supreme realm.
Eh? You make it sound like we're living in piles of rubbish.
Aren't we?
Of course not. If you ask me, I'd say you have absolutely no idea how wonderful the outside world is. Because you have never left here to try it yourself. Dr. Pepper, the music festivals, Rory Storm, the Hollies and the Rolling Stones. Oh, there are too many to count. If it weren't for this sick storm, I would still be riding a motorcycle in one of those races in London.
Your soul must be pretty contaminated.
And the computer, they can calculate extremely large numbers within seconds, better than hundreds of thousands of you combined together.
In the case of numbers, it's not the bigger the better. Also, this computer has never played a useful part in our study.
Come on, mate. You people just leave it in a cave. It's like sending an infant to the kitchen and waiting for it to bring you dinner.
这比喻
Never
真
mind,
好啊！
you'll see what I mean after I fix
新
it.
T 会修这些东西，看不出来。 星地嘟囔着爬到机器下面。
Can you fix an IDM, Regulus?
No, but I've seen the Laplace people do it. Shouldn't be too difficult, I assume. Oh, the dust! When was the last time you sent people down here to clean? Oh, some critters are nesting here. Oh, did I break into your party? Bertin, come give me a hand. They won't let me touch them.
魔晶在里面大家。
May the peace be with us.
几何学魔晶
My sword shall
跟一
defeat.
般魔晶。
So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
Don't resist. Need me to get you guys an ambulance?
No,
Yeah,
I believe in you.
Please, don't resist. Time for a
Venia
special
sereno
assault.
intenso ad infinito.
Stop.
My sword sharp. So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
Do this, yeah. Do this, see this. What? You still don't recognize me? What about now? Now,
I believe in
you
you.
lucky guests, ladies and gentlemen. This is no magic, nor any special kind of entertainment. It's
So long lives this, and this gives power to thee. My sword sharp. I believe in you. Venia sereno intenso ad infinito.
what? You still don't recognize me?
Venia sereno intenso
What
ad
about
infinito.
我都不知道他们要打的嘛久。
Depict the world I have never seen before. Each moment, now night.
Seven, siete, set.
打个这几只魔晶而已。电脑的荧幕正跳跃着绿色的数位。驱逐寄生的害虫后，这台蒙尘的庞然大物奇迹般的恢复了生机。
You fixed it. It's great to have you clean the laboratory, Regulus. Your floating point immediately reduced.
Oh, is that a compliment? Sounds like one to me. Thank you.
It's a wordplay, Captain. Infinity minus any numbers still equals to infinity.
Oh, fine, fine. I should have given up the idea of changing your eccentric sorting system a long time ago. What's the meaning of humans inventing computers if these machines were only left here for some critters to nest in?
Thanks to you, now we can have a look at the previous models, Regulus. But it's a pity since it only has the data before 2003. Everything in the past 4 years has gone missing.
三七以不应有的熟练操作起机器来。
This is our chronology, Vertin. From 1999 to 2007, the emanation has taken place 7 times.
看不到这什么？1996年退到1999年退到1996年，是不是？2000年退到19，看不出来。
In the initial 4 years, the emanation has a pattern. First, it brought us back to the 90s, then the 80s, and then the 70s. After that, it suddenly leaped to the 30s. In the subsequent 3 years, it took place twice.
Every record here can perfectly match what is in the Foundation's files.
啊，丝毫无差吗？所以在威尔汀在住院的那段期间里，还是有持续发生暴雨的。
Wait, these are the records before 2003, you say? But this one refers to the storm in 1966, which happened recently.
These are indeed the records before 2003. What's following the records is our forecast.
That's to say, you prophesied the 1966 storm 4 years prior to its occurrence. How is this possible? That you are clever enough to develop such a precise mathematical model, while at the same time you just let the IDM become the home of these critters?
We just worked out the patterns in the number sequences.
You made such precise prediction even without leaving the island. That's incredible.
三七有些不满地撇了撇嘴。
You don't need to go into a river to find out the pattern of its flow. Moreover, we would send people to observe in the phenomenal world. My mother was one of them. She is the co-author of this model. Nobody knows this computer better than her.
So you have a mother too?
他在讲废话吗？CT 呀。
Two?
37. Where is your mother now?
Like many people, she was restored to her true form. Since then, I took over this laboratory.
The form, you said. 37? What is it?
What kind of question is this?
他歪了歪头，好像发自内心的感到不解。
The form, or the essence, is what's left of you after all the fakeness has been peeled off. 乌龟的船，它如期归来，却满载空空。
Now we are listening to the New Year collection. The world-famous painting Mona Lisa was found and returned to Musée du Louvre in the afternoon of December 13th. The U.S. Congress passed the Federal Reserve Act on December 23rd, formally establishing the Federal Reserve System. The conflict between Austria-Hungary and Serbia has escalated. Bulgaria challenged the Bucharest Peace Treaty. Tension is building up over the Balkan Peninsula. In London, futurists gathered under Big Ben, celebrating the upcoming 1914.
This is news of the outside world?
十四行师将无线电小姐放到耳边，专注聆听着这场陌生的宣讲会。在断断续续的播报后，旋钮拨到了右端，喂，又这么快！一个熟悉的人声传了出来。
Well, I am with Sophia. Arcana's still in the hall. She hasn't taken any action so far. Got it. Please keep an eye on the Manus followers. Be mindful of the restrictions set by the Bangle. Who are you talking to?
十四行师忙把无线电小姐放在了身后。
Just checking up on Lilia.
Please stay vigilant during the patrol. This is the last place we need to check.
进阶的沙滩上散落着大小不一的几何体，它们有的陷入在沙子中，有的不屈地高昂着，像是一台极简艺术年展。
We must keep this graveyard clean.
这是目的。
Our dead deserve to be left in peace and undisturbed by the phenomenal world.
苏菲亚在一个圆锥形的几何体面前半跪下来，小心擦拭其表面。
Miss Sophia, you said this is the graveyard?
苏菲亚擦拭几何体的手有一瞬间的颤抖。
Yes, the geometry graveyard it is called. 4 years ago, my father was restored to a geometric body on his way back to the island. So was 37's mother.
被还原成了几何体。
Why are you crying, Sophia?
I was wrong. We calculated it wrong, 37. We miscalculated the impacted area of the emanation. We thought the ships would be safe in the Gorgon current, but the safe area is in fact 5 degrees away. When the emanation happened, the bow of their ship had just entered the safe area. But it was too late. My dad is gone. So is your mom.
I know. But why are you crying? My mom and your dad have come back to us, right?
Have come back? Do you call this coming like this? In the form of geometric bodies, cold and silent.
37皱起眉，似乎发自内心的陷入了疑惑，随即他勾起了嘴角，就像以往的无数次一样，他又在瞬间便想到了答案，如此迅捷，如此正确。
No, they have gone somewhere further. Look at them. These geometric bodies. How pure and how elegant. I've never seen such perfect geometric bodies before. If they are not from the eternal and transcendental world of forms, how should we explain this?
37?
I'm going to study the emanation, Sophia. This is the best chance ever. The transcendental world finally opens its door to us. We will reach our hands to the forms and explore the oldest and eternal laws. Will you help me, Sophia? Next time I will definitely make a better calculation. I promise.
海浪拍打着沙滩，细沙之中，几何体不屈地沐浴着月光。它们保持着最原初的姿态，从未被潮水腐蚀，也从未被岁月冲刷。一座座永恒的纪念碑。苏菲亚低下头，就像要切断一桩不堪的往事。
Thank you for assisting 37 with her research, Snetto.
No, I didn't do anything. Timekeeper knows the storm better.
You have helped us greatly by just coming onto this island. For all this time, 37 has been locked up in the laboratory, refusing to talk to anyone, nor participate in any group study. Since the 2-day emanation in 1929, it is you who helped her revive her interest in other affairs in Apiron.
These are Timekeeper's contributions. I barely did anything.
苏菲亚苦笑一声，移过开了目光。
I can't help 37, because I don't see the charm of numbers. I lack the perception that an integer should have. That's why I can't see my own number.
The number's charm? Sorry, I have never thought about this. For me, Arcanum is my inborn mission. If you ask me, you are an unbelievably excellent Arcanist. You can flatten the ground, clean up the beach, and rectify errors. You did it in an efficient and precise manner, which is already an advanced ritual.
Any students who have sworn to knowledge can do this easily. They aren't doing my job because they wish not to waste time on these trivial fragments of the phenomenal world. Because they have seen the truth.
The phenomenal world is never complete. Like you can never draw a perfect circle there. No matter how much time you spend on it or how sophisticated your device is, it is impossible to draw a perfect circle in the phenomenal world. Arrows always exist. The floating points after the decimal can be reduced, but not destroyed. The perfect circle only exists in the abstract transcendental world. Of course, anyone in the world can find out the value of pi through the most primitive method. Egyptians, Greeks, Chinese, and Babylonians, they have all tried. They made circles with twine, painted on the ground with twigs, or measured the land with cubit rods. But none of them actually drew a perfect circle. However different their practices were, they found out the sole truth, the approximate value of pi, because the essence of the circle is hiding in the imperfect manifestation of it. This is the truth. It is eternal, unchanged, pure, and transcendent. Anyone can reach out to it at any time, in any place, by any means, and everyone will get the same answer from it. The forms transcend all matters.
他的目光坚定而遥远。
The world of matters we live in is being flooded and destroyed by the tides of Numa. When the tides recede, what is left on the beach is the essence.
This doesn't sound right. Let me think. How come your theory reminds me of the Manus doctrine?
37. We see the storm very differently. Among all the other things, we saw it first of all as a disaster.
But earthquakes, floods, volcanic eruptions, these are also disasters. These catastrophic events happen not because they have a reason to destroy. They just happen in this world. This is what my mother taught me. She must be proud that she's a perfect geometric body now.
I'm sorry for mentioning your mother.
37又却皱紧了眉头。
Why do you apologize, Furton? Are you feeling guilty? This is a very unusual feeling for a number like you.
I don't get it. Why did you say my number is 0?
To be continued。洞穴之外，洞穴遮不住所有的鱼，子狗也一样。
I just saw it. The numbers of everything and every being would just emerge in front of me. I see it, and I speak it out loud. That's it.
210 told me numbers imply our fate.
37的眉毛拧得更紧，讲错，眉毛拧得更紧了。
Don't believe him, Verton. Numbers are just numbers. I know nothing about fate. Fine. I don't think I like 210. And the feeling goes both ways for us. Because I once said he is a poor number. 210 equals 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. He is the product of all prime numbers between 1 and 10.
所有质数的成绩。
Looks like he has it all. But he doesn't have any real forte. He likes to sugarcoat himself with metaphors. Only those with a flawed essence would adore the trickery of words.
This is indeed an extreme comment.
And 6 is no better. Every leader of a Pyrrhon has been a 6. 6 is the perfect number since it equals the sum of all its proper divisors. 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. But this number has been overrated. He's not that special.
What about your number? What does 37 mean?
I don't know.
他抿了抿嘴唇。
I am 37. I've known it since I was born. So does everyone else.
天才儿童啊。
People told me what it means. But I have never tried to prove their theory. I know very little of fate. So I always think, even if I find out their essences, does it mean I have known them better?
"37 once tried to tell me my number."
苏菲亚深深呼出了一口气。
She wrote it down and put it into a bottle, but I couldn't get up the courage to open it. I once made a horrible mistake. It makes me worried that I may also be a mistake. So I threw the bottle into the sea.
他停下了巡视的脚步，短暂的回过身来。
This is how 37 is different from us. We are all prisoners of that cave. Only the wise one can find her way out of the cave and return to rescue the rest of us. I'm the ignorant prisoner who sits, and she's the wise one. I will be crushed into dust by the truth, while she will be the star, shining above it.
是的，他曾在补习时听过这个寓言故事，但从未听过这样的一个版本。红发姑娘发出了一声叹息，她抬起头注视着海上闪烁的夜幕。
The truth is like the stars in the night sky. Beautiful, but cold. It has been there long before my existence, and will stay that way long after I'm gone. It sheds no tears for the weak, nor laments the tragic fate. It's forever bright, and always moving forward. The person who avoids the truth is not qualified to study it. I'm sorry. My interpretation has been emotional.
No. I think I kind of know how you feel, Miss Sophia. However unworthy you think you are, there must be something we can do. Maybe we can't reach the core of the truth, but we can clean up the path to it for the future explorers. This is our fate.
Interesting insight. I have come to understand why 37 likes you so much. Let us go back to work then. Start from dusting the tombstones.
Alright, I've had enough of these Sol Numa related idle topics. I want to have a look at your model. Wow, seriously? How did you get this far?
星替迫不及待的想要凑过来，37却已经用极手快的关掉了机器。
This model has been proven wrong. For 4 whole years we had been optimizing it. But the emanation in 1929 only lasted for 2 days, which means our calculation was entirely a failure. That model is just like this computer. It's a piece of junk. And this is all I can present to you.
37神情落寞地垂下了头。
No, it's not junk. I think I know why your model didn't work.
What?
Manus Vindicte has changed history. They accelerated history, forcing historical events to happen earlier than they were supposed to. Thus, the storm in 1929 occurred sooner than it should.
No way.
37猛地瞪大了眼睛，他的肩膀正微微颤抖着。
Controlling the emanation. Changing the history of the outside world. Numa is eternal and transcendental. It won't obey any orders given from the phenomenal world. Neither will it change its patterns because of some fragments. I'm telling the truth, 37. I've been there, in the storm of 1929. Your model was not wrong. You just missed some key information. You've never been to the place where the storm falls, and thus know nothing about the symptoms of the storm syndrome and the true purposes of Manus Vindictae. No! That's impossible! Even if there are means to control the emanation, it wouldn't be like this. If this is true, does it mean the phenomenal world, this insignificant phenomenal world, is more transcendental? Mother's model was defeated by this?
他面色苍白的抱紧了双臂，似乎在下一个艰难的决心。最终，他艰难的开口了
Vertin, could you give us proof? The proof that Manus Vindictae accelerated history and triggered the emanation. I swear I wasn't lying. No, not like this. To prove it in front of Apiron. Go to our sacred place, to the Hall of Truth, in the depths of the cave. There, everyone can see the essence of the world. I beg you, give them your proof, just like how we submit the proof of our soul number.
Come here. Place your hand on it. Feel
格
the
格不入
texture.
者。
The craft is one of a kind, not some cheapie you can get from the flea market. I mean it. This is a Keelian, and even the most traditional, delicate, and expensive kind. It has applied fiery red as the dominant color, and the stitches are perfectly neat. Oh. From the sea, just like you, darling. It arrived with a meerschaum pipe, a glass jar, a pack of sugar cubes, and a child in panic. Both she and the Keeling were born on the land where the craft originated. Their appearances apply the same dominant color, and the patterns in them share similar complexity. Oh, your curiosity is aroused. But we are not done with the carpets yet. You've always got to get a souvenir or two every time you reach a new place. So you will have something to show when you tell the stories one day, right? Look at these handmade fabrics. How splendid! Those incredible patterns were the only thing on the craftswomen's minds when they made the carpet. But they are just people like us. What if they get distracted? What if the carpet knots go off the right track and get tied to the wrong threads? Then you will be in trouble. Big trouble. All the problems in the universe will come at you, and the situation will be even worse than the bureaucratic system of a millennial empire.
该死，该死，该死！
Calm down. Many swear like you do when there is nothing they can do. They always step into the same river named Mistake, again and again. That's why we need them. Those crossing the river with their rulers, spanners, toolboxes, and dusty faces. The Correctors. An ancient profession. Their duty is to remove the loose threads and iron out the wrinkles on the carpets. In the language of this island, that is to check the calculations on the papyri and even the holes on the punched tapes. No one is capable of doing this job except the altruists, because it is similar to unraveling a ball of wool. besides finding the end of the threads, you must always pay attention to the cats. And she, the red-haired little girl with the carpet in her arms, was overwhelmed at the beginning. Not yet familiar with the ruler, she tried her best to find the end of the threads. So the cats took the opportunity to jump on her together and left countless scratches on that little forehead. Poor girl. See, that's the problem every corrector has to deal with. Their job is to correct errors. But what if their own existence is also part of the errors? Oh, it's no big deal. There is more than one loom in this world. She left the complicated patterns behind and came to this simple kingdom featuring numbers only. There she made the first contact with a spinning loom named geometry. She had never seen anything like that before, and it was almost impossible for her to comprehend how it worked. Without a whole picture of what she was working on, she resorted to her hard work and more hard work. Then a long time passed, leaving one wound after another on her fingers. Later, the wounds even became calluses. In the end, her hands were no longer tender, but tough enough to resist the damage from the loom. Yes, she has won a place on this island for herself. Yes, she's a quick learner. She learned even faster than some of the locals. But that was not enough, because she has been outmatched by her playmate, the leading one in the field of mathematics on the island. That girl is like a perfect piece of satin born by nature. It is decorated by the beauty of mathematics and geometry. No manual work involved. In order to reach the showcase where that perfect piece lies, and to stay on the right track and fit into the school, she has done everything she could. But she is still the most distinctive carpet there. Anyone can tell that as long as they spend some time on the island. Oh, of course not. She's only a bit different from others. So she will continue to weave on the loom until one day the spindle pierces her callus and the fire burns everything to the ground. Shh. I should stop here. You know that mathematician who was thrown into the sea? He died because he said something he shouldn't have. Cut not wood on a public road. Open not an unwanted bottle. I don't know what to say next. I guess the best line for this circumstance is, see you later.
第19章，逆行的舟，拒绝速效药，拒绝叩门的推销，拒绝翻页的答案，拒绝那一步踏入的门廊。
Wait a second, just a second. Isn't this still the dungeon? Are you setting us up?
All caves are interconnected. This is the way to our sacred place.
37, wait. I remember Sophia once told us that trespassing on the sacred place is a serious crime.
No worries. The restrictions were to help us not be distracted by the unimportant details in life. It would not stop us from seeking the truth.
Oh, excellent. I will tell it to the Abraxas when it shows up.
这规则有漏洞啊！新地的脚步忽然止住了。
Hey, 37. Are you sure this is the right way? My heart just sank as if I took a bite of those overnight potato chips.
Are you scared?
Oh, you wish. But when I was exploring underground with Lilia earlier, We ran into some fog like this one. Oh, it doesn't bring you any wanted guests, mind you.
Maybe you were their target because you are an irrational number.
Oh, is that so? You integers will be fine then. Good luck. Don't beg this pirate for help later.
Hold there. Something is coming out.
几个摇摇晃晃的古怪身形正跌跌撞撞的走来。
Rooster ahead with 2 snakes as its feet. Abraxas. That's weird. Why are they here?
They're coming for us.
Ha! What did I say? Don't beg.
Regulus, prepare for battle.
Okay, I know. I was just teasing her.
新 T 吹着口哨，畅快的冲进敌阵。手腕处突然传来锥心刺骨的般的疼痛。重塑之手，那个他启用是重置之手。
Stone Bangle is activated, but they're just Abraxas. Regulus, wait for their attack. Do not kill them.
What kind of request is this?
Listen to me, Regulus. That's of prime importance.
Fine. If it is of prime importance, this pirate will try her best.
Hey, give me a ship. Just one with the lowest denomination.
这阿奇用怎么看都长得不一样啊，头都变成这种鬼样子了。
And this gives power to thee.
Time for a special massage.
No, I believe in
Yeah,
you.
I know.
Please, don't resist. Sueña sereno intenso ad infinito.
What? You still don't recognize me? What about now?
A sword shot. Who this is? I know the moon, and this is an alien city. Please, don't resist.
What? You still don't recognize me? What about now? Now, yes, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no magic, nor any special kind of mechanism. It's just
怎么好像只要有打完就会其中一只都会晕眩？
I believe in you. So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
Intentarlo de nuevo.
A sword sharp.
I smell the scent of mint in it.
Sempre caro mi tu quest'erba cole.
第一个动作的人会被晕眩。
Depict the world I have never seen before. Each moment, now night.
Red 38 is about to return.
That's it. I still have 10 more songs to play.
These are not the same kind of Abraxas as we've encountered before. Do they have different varieties?
Wait, where is Miss 37?
被绑走了，回音远远的传来。
Hey! Come on, keep up!
我在这边打架，他在那边给我偷跑。
Did she just take off like that while we fought? Sneaky little. We should leave Tuvert in.
Wait a second, Regulus. Do you sense anything familiar in the fog?
Uh-huh, you bet. This is the first guest room we were put in when we first entered the island.
No, Captain. This apple has the same strange feeling. We saw the rise of Ceres in the same kind of fog. And before that...
That's the same fog as in the Elitial space.
That is to say, this fog is the cause of our illusion to see the Ceres and the Abraxas' attack.
Don't rush to conclusions. Follow 37 first. Oh, and what's that series you were talking about?
雾气越来越浓，而洞穴的四壁也越来越明亮，好像有某种不可见的光源隐没其中。
I just picked up a piece of paper. Like this, just bent over and reached to the ground.
新替俯下身，凭自觉摸向了黑暗中的一处闪光。回过神来时，他的手上已经多了一本质感古硕的手抄本，一张变一本了。
Oh, probably just some math problems left from the critter's breakfast. You never know. Wait, the compounds of alchemy. The 12 gates leading to the discovery of the Philosopher's Stone. This is that alchemy handbook given to Edward IV by George Ripley. Why is it here?
Look at this, Captain. Of the Great Stone of the Ancients by Basil Valentine. The 112 books by Geber. Emerald's Tablet in Latin. Seems like there are more ancient texts about alchemy hidden inside the whole, but they are all incomplete.
Oh, so maybe I need to crack some more crossword puzzles to find out about this.
Our caves endow people with wisdom. Our secret knowledge is hidden in the silent boulder walls.
不知何时，37站在了洞穴的另一端。
The knowledge in those books is just a drop in the ocean. Follow me, Regulus.
新替放下了手上的书，露出了犹豫的神色。
Vertin, you lot go ahead. Go with 37. I will meet you outside.
You want to read these books here?
The knowledge passed down through language can easily be distorted. Compared to the wisdom of a Perron, it's nothing.
No, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going back. Oh, all right. I might as well just admit that your cave indeed has the power to give people insights. If I follow its lead, perhaps I'll finally work out the answer about that little thing I've been carrying with me. Never thought that I'd find the answer here. Easy as picking up a shell on a beach.
37止住了脚步，相当不解地歪了歪头。
What? You don't want to get closer to the truth?
Oh, of course I do. And that's precisely why I don't want to get to it so easily. I don't want it to be fed into my brain. Come on, it's the ultimate truth that we're talking about. If someone just tells me the ending of Lord of the Flies before I enjoy the book, I will throw them into the sea as you people do.
Oh.
他突然笑了。
I only met 2 people who reject the truth. So this is the mindset of irrational numbers. I see. Thank you for being my subject of observation, Regulus.
37以及转身离去。
Go, Vertin. We have a long way ahead.
Be careful, Regulus.
Don't worry, I know this place well enough by now. After all, I've never been so welcomed in any other place ever. Critters, monsters, creatures with strange heads. Do you worse. This pirate is not afraid of you. 返回出口，样貌奇异的怪物堵住了船长的去路。更多阿奇翁。
Hey, give me a chip. just one with a
I
low
will
Wanna watch the
Yeah,
aerial
I
stunts?
know.
So long lives this, and this gives power to
Oh,
Hey, hey, hey! Don't be shy, mi amigo. Let's dance.
Chia!
Hi.
the sword sharp.
Right wing.
What? You still don't recognize
Devi
me?
essere un terzo ad infinito. It's alright. I will
Wanna watch the aerial stunts?
So long lives this, and this gives
Hey,
power to
hey, hey! Don't be shy, mi amigo. Let's dance.
My sword sharp. I believe in you. Devi essere un terzo ad infinito.
Right wing.
Sempre caro mi fu quest'erba cole. Depict my
Whatever.
sword sharp.
Сколько
Each
побед.
moment, now night.
Swallow my exhaust.
现在他可以安心返程。Part 20小章节，伸出手，我们不对，我要先讲大标是探寻者，伸出手，我们如此接近答案。
Apiron, the boundless, the beginning of all things. Everything originates from it and returns to it. Infinity has no start and no end.
37有
But
这么高
nothing？ would come into existence if there's only infinity.
喂，37比我想的更矮。
Look up there, Vertin. Now they are presenting in their true forms. In their purest and newest forms.
这没有办法念，它全部都是全自
Our
动。
world was born from the wounds on infinity. When it's cut by finity, the patterns of the cutting are what we call mathematics. Thus, the essences of numbers exist inside all beings, and the patterns of all numbers exist in all matters. The length of a butterfly's wings and its body are in golden ratio, and the plant leaves grow on their stems in the pattern of the Fibonacci spiral. This is the most primitive rhythm of Arcanum, and it is also the beginning of our extraordinary study. This is the essence.
And how do I submit my proof?
Close your eyes, Vertin. Only when your eyes are closed will your mind open up. Now, stay fully concentrated and recall the question you want to verify. Only in the absolute contemplation can truth reveal itself to you.
闭上眼睛，身体被抛掷，落入那永恒的、无限沉默静默中，灵魂却在奔腾，庆祝着来之不易的解脱。它升得更高，看得更远。超脱于永恒流转的生之巨轮，凌驾于奔腾不息的时间长河之上。先是无，然后是有；先是一，然后是二，然后是三；先是点，然后是线，然
The
后是面
storm,。the emanation, the storm syndrome. Where are they from? Foundation, Manus Vindictae, Aperon. What roles do they play? Why does the storm fall when history trembles?
Why doesn't the storm fall into the misty land? What is the ingredient of asymmetrical nuclide R?
昔日的线索在此汇聚，点连成线，线连成面，面连铸成一张巨大的织网。
underground labyrinth. But Numa can guide us to go beyond all things and reach the exit. Virgin, can you see it?
I... It's burning!
和十环相接的袖口传来灼热的触感。静谧的真理王国在顷刻间消隐无踪，取代之的是无限的混乱。
What's going on? Is somebody fighting with the Manus now? What's happening outside the cave?
Written, why are you straying? The meditation goes beyond control. You will be thrown out of here. This would be a foolish mistake. The repair on this is...
Ah!
毫无征兆的，他的话语响起，就像一阵阵吹灭蜡烛的风。
No man shall bravest the storm and live, including thee.
$37! $37!
重塑门徒，所有美妙的图景都消失了。冰冷的岩洞深处，重塑之手的门徒正疯狂地用头撞击着墙壁。在他们脚下，37不省人事地躺着，口中发出含糊不清的呓语。只有一座实质的遗迹，冷漠地俯瞰一切。
What happened? What all those illusions? If it weren't for the heat of the stone bangle that wakes me up, would I go as crazy as they did? This stone reminds me of the spinning wheel.
好在这个皮质小箱并未丢失在灵芝和抽象的迷宫中。
The collector of asymmetric nuclei R. If the reagent turns gold after reacting with the fog here, that means the fog contains elements that can be immune to the storm.
一抹金色浮现在玻璃管中，这是此前从未发生过的。
The color changed faster than I thought. The concentration of R is hundreds of times, no, thousands of times higher than in the Manus' masks. In other words, whoever owns this cave can produce the protective equipment of the storm in big numbers. Is that the reason why Arcana is here?
37在幻觉中翻了一个身。
Oh, Mother, our model hasn't failed.
I need to take 37 out of here.
更多癫狂的人影从阴影中走出，跌跌撞撞挡住了去路。
So the Abraxas were people from the Manors. The fog here can affect people's minds, like those around the lake in my suitcase.
抬起手，手上的十环还散发着灼热的温度。
Have the Manors found a way to launch attacks without being punished by the bangle? Or don't they care about the price they will be paying anymore?
危难迫在眉睫，这是不得不为之的防守。
I hope Regulus didn't throw my words to the wind. I have to get rid of them first, and go out to join the others.
是可以打的吗？既定的契约不可打破。我方每回合第一个行动，角色直到下一个回合无法行动。
The peace agreement no longer works. Or is it safe as long as the contracting parties have no intention to fight? The conditions are not clear. A reckless attack may lead to the punishment of the Bangle. I have to be careful with the method and timing of attacking.
I believe in you. My sword sharp. I believe in
第
you.
一个行动会被晕吗？
Do this.
Time.
No romance. So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
Need me to get you guys in
A little trick. Haven't you eaten?
Relax. My sword sharp.
Yes, I know.
Wanna watch the aerial stunts?
Breathe. Gioia sereno intenso ad infinito.
Wait. The body is melting. It turns into a seed. So this is how the Manas fight against the restrictions. They sacrifice one man to feed another.
"所以那颗种子我们是不能够处理的呢。
I believe in you. No romance.
Do this.
Time.
So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
Hey! Don't be shy.
Right win.
Let's dance.
The sacrificed follower has been absorbed by the seed. Is this some kind of ritual?
Okay. One can see.
37? Can you hear me?
Mother.
My sword sharp.
Now, let me choose 2 lucky guests.
Relax.
Yes, I know.
So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is no magic, nor any special kind of mechanic. It's just luck.
The dead followers turned into geometric symbols. Is it because of the cave? So the seed is the form of Manus Vindictae.
The forms transcend matter.
"啊，他的本子可真恶心啊！
Things are not as simple as I thought. I must make a plan and exercise great care.
Depict the world I have never seen.
Wanna watch
before.
the aerial stunts?
Do this.
Each moment, now night.
的确，
Oh.
Oh, need me to get you guys an ambulance?
Stop. I believe in you.
Now, let me choose 2 lucky guests.
Хорошо.
Tú decides.
Premia sereno intenso ad infinito.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is no magic, nor any special kind of electronic. It's nothing.
完全不会痛。
Ta-da! Time for a special massage.
It's alright. My sword sharp.
Whatever. Wanna watch the aerial stunts?
It will all be fine. Sempre caro mi su quest'erba cole. Swallow my exhaust.
Haven't you eaten? Right, win.
Breathe.
Intentarlo de nuevo.
I believe in you. My sword sharp. I believe in you.
不对，这样不行。
My sword sharp.
我们等下直接移动了。
Хорошо.
Yes, I know.
So long lives this, and this gives power to thee.
Don't blink.
Form of Manus Vindictae. It's more distorted than I thought. It's all over.
I will pray for you. Sorry.
21史来的黑，那遮蔽了海的哦，我知道怎么念。那遮蔽了海的，那吞没的云的，层层的而来。念起来有点拗口。
Vertin, finally! The Manus suddenly emerged everywhere like ants. Lilia and I couldn't take them all down. I would have acted sooner if you hadn't told me not to pick fights.
一个发狂的门徒尖叫着扑来，被红弩箭结结实实的放倒在地。他的四肢抽搐着，很快的变得干瘪下去。
Bleen, all they want is to attack, even if their blood will be sucked out. Insane! Back when we were spying on them, I told Sanetta to screw the peace agreement through the radio. I knew those geometry psychos and the Manus would go mad sooner or later. They were not that crazy when they were solving the math problems. There!
游戏自动帮我们消音了。
What the hell happened down there?
The cave is the key to be immune to the storm. There is a cave on this island, which has the same effect as my suitcase. That's what the Manus are.
What?
But hasn't she also put on the stone bangle? Even if she can break free from that bangle, there is no way she'd let her followers keep carrying out suicide attacks. And if she has signed that peace agreement, how will she take the cave from a Byron?
Curtain.
背上的37睁开了眼睛，他伸出了一根手指，指向了远方的天空。在那永恒超艳的天幕之上，亮起了一排过分明亮的耀星。
What's that?
传道者之厅内万籁俱寂，只有访客还在翻阅着古老的书籍。
I'm afraid you have overstayed your welcome, Ms. Arcana. I have to regrettably remind you not to overstep the boundaries, despite the great help you've given to us.
I take not thought for needless disputes, but to ask a simple question.
他轻轻地合上了书页。
the great philosophers. Ye seek the ancient wisdom, follow the sage's teaching, and pursue the noble virtues. You are separated from the world for thousands of years, and you have not gained the human's understanding, nor have you sought for it. I find pleasure in this allegory of the cave. However, hast this been unto thee? That who led us to the exile in this cave.
要心不断逼近，原来是飞机哦。井然有序，如雨燕回巢。
What are they? I've never seen these before.
还是战机耶，有炮管。
Why are they here? These things should not appear on this island.
飞弹都下来了。
No! 97, no!
永恒回归的洋流被阻断了。那隔缄默的海面上，一艘黑色军舰划破海浪，朝岛屿驶来。
Seneto, did you bring the humans' army here?
啊，这一章节这么短哦，才20章而已，21章。小淘金者聚集在沙滩上的投机分子试图从沙子里挖出闪光物，那东西不属于他们。哇！那这一次才开放第5章节，在吊人胃口的。哇，比风扇还吊哎！风扇至少是每个礼拜呀，还会更新。这个等它更新至少要半个月，然后再加上它还有其他的活动嘛，所以可能还要再等2个月。我现在只更新到第5章而已嘛。
I know the moon, and this is an alien
Don't blink.
city.
Ta-da! Time for a special massage.
Wanna watch the aerial stunts?
I know.
A little trick.
Venia sereno intenso ad infinito.
Oh, need me to get you guys an ambulance?
Haven't you eaten? Whatever. Сколько побед?
Swallow my exhaust.
他们丢下寻到的宝藏，一哄而散。他现在打扮特别偏心。等一下，是马蒂尔达吧？马蒂尔达跟小什么的友好会晤。摆摆脑袋，晃晃耳朵，小白鸭寻着带菊鸟儿。张杰新特别篇。
Wow! So this is the library in Purton School!
哦，苏富比。
So many people here. They're probably around my age.
我刚才那是个绿色的，这是马蒂尔达。一袭沙普绿要入第1防线学校图书馆中，上下起伏的音调如同永不停歇的带菊鸟儿。
We've also got this many shelves in the library of Sotheby's Manor. Are there any alchemy workshops and potion warehouses here, like in our manor?
小淑女踮起脚尖，好奇的左右张望。
Where can I find Miss Buenish? Madame Z told me to come here, but she didn't give any other clues. The people here really need Mr. Teaketler, who is always nice and warm to the guests. Just twist his teapot ear, then he can take you anywhere. If not so, placing a luck-a-day potion at the entrance would help as well. If I had made it before I came, Miss Buenish and I might have met by now. Or she will just pop up behind me. Are you looking for me? Oh my word! Oops, that was too loud. Where are my manners?
苏富比赶紧捋了捋裙摆上的皱褶，像真正的淑女般朝着马蒂尔达微微探手。
Nice to meet you. Are you Miss Buenish?
身制服的可人儿高傲的点了点头，显然这一事实毋庸置疑的。这书是一场颇具历史性的首次会晤。
That's fantastic. How did you find me? Did you see me in the Oneiromancy? Or through a crystal orb? Either way, it is the great Arcanum. I'm much greater than that. Look at you, dressed as if you'd just been to a ball. You are as eye-catching as the pigment board on a sketch. I saw you the moment I came into the library. A ball? Does the Foundation hold balls too? Non, I'm saying... Est-ce que tous les amis de Vertine parlent comme ça? Never mind. Madame Z told me you wanted to look up the materials on the mysterious school that believes in numbers here. That's right. Miss Mossel told me she will thoroughly check the documents in the Foundation archive. So I'll go through the books in the SPDM library. If we can find anything about that school, we can be of more help to Vertin and her team. I'm sorry, Miss Sotheby, but I'm afraid the situation is going to disappoint you. While you spend the last hour looking for Teaketler's ear, the kind-hearted monitor assistant already gained a valuable access to the library. But I haven't found any records regarding the mysterious school that believes in numbers yet.
这真是晴天霹雳！
Oh, but Miss Mossel said there are so many books here that they can cover the entire back of a Stronsay beast. That's a bit exaggerated, but she's right. Nevertheless, the librarian was transferred to a more important position years ago due to the storm. Many old books are not yet sorted. Some even went missing in the chaos. The only relevant materials I could find are the stories of Pythagoras and some books on mathematical theorems. But...
布翁尼小姐对上了一双水雾朦胧的眼睛。
That means I can't do anything to help them. Please stop being emotional. It doesn't work on this professional member of the Foundation.
马蒂尔达充满转移的视线，故作成熟的清了清嗓子。
Without field investigation permission, I can't take you out to collect information. But in fact, there is still another reference room only known to the most outstanding monitor assistant. Hooray!
正在看书的学生投来不满的目光。
It's a violation to make noises in the library! Please follow me, Miss Sotheby.
高耸的书架，陌生的环境，机会渺茫的任务，女人孩们穿梭其中，如同灵巧的而活泼的鱿鱼。
Thank you so much, Miss Buenish. You mentioned ball. I haven't heard that word for a very long time. I remember what Mr. Carson, my butler, had taught me.
He said, "Express your gratitude to fair ladies by holding a grand ball." I'll write to my father and ask for a brand new, unsinkable and maneuverable rock and roll park. I'm sure he will gladly say yes. Maneuverable rock and roll park? Yes. We can hold a twist ball on it when Burton and her team are back. Please allow me to say no. The monitor assistant of SPDM will never participate in such an inelegant activity. Wait, did you just say Burton and her team? We can talk about the ball later. The kind-hearted Matilda Buanish will try her best to help you with the task. But, of course, it's only out of her sense of responsibility, not for some personal...
淑女们的脚步越发迅捷，终于他们抵达了终点。为了便于给将来的时代缝补上应有的片段，也为了收下眼下尚不紧要的文件与报告，人们把它们作为类似小方夹子，并抹上灰白的墙面。这段也或许会持续许久的糟糕时间里，或许可以称之为历史的注脚。
Here we are. The reference room storing unnecessary information. It's a place ignored by most staff. Even so, this careful, reliable monitor assistant will not let go of any details.
他小心翼翼地推开微微生锈的铁门。
I hereby officially appoint you as the Chief Assistant of Monitor Assistant of SPDM. I will take my responsibility and teach you how to become a devoted Foundation member.
马蒂尔达一把拉下了文件柜盖上的罩布，灰尘飞扬起来。
Here is your first task. Read through these unsorted old files. All of them.
纪律协助服务员拿下一份蒙尘的文件，里面的纸质已经发黄。
I have searched all the archived ones. These are the last parts. Most of them are discarded administrative documents, low-priority materials, and substandard reports written by rookie investigators. By the way, you should know I didn't sort any of them out for you, and they don't necessarily have what you want. It's all right. Leave them to me. I love reading. You'd better do. Here's the key. Keep it safe. You can sit on the cushions there when you sort out the files. I don't want your dress to stain the stone bench. I'll go see if I missed any files. Listen, this monitor assistant will test you on your familiarity with these files when she's back.
3个小时后
Double check completed. Looks like I didn't miss any relevant files. Phew, quite a long day. I doubt if that spoiled lady can finish all the materials. She must have been bored and fallen asleep, waiting for her tea kettler in the dream. It takes much more than dancing at balls to be a Foundation investigator. I'll send her back to that teacher when she wakes up. In the end, it will be the kind-hearted Matilda who finishes the task for her. Being a great monitor assistant comes with great responsibility.
马蒂尔达轻轻推开资料室的门，出乎意料的是，他得到了一声热情洋溢的友好招呼。
Oh, Miss Boenish!
苏弗比很有精神地站在梯子上，手上拿着一卷文书，地上散落着阅读中的资料，已经读毕的都被好好的归拢在书架的一角。
You didn't fall asleep. Did you sort out these files? Yes, and I love these books in uncommon shapes. There are so many wonderful stories. I often read books with Sasana when Father wasn't at home. We read and read until the red bomb waves woke up the sun. Moreover, these files are much easier than Miss Moisson's reading task. Here,
The gentleman from River Conway tamed a whole group of Avanks. How marvelous is that?
Oh, okay. Looks like you meet the basic requirements for being a rookie investigator. Tu es plus ou moins qualifié pour être mon assistante en chef.
小淑女没有在意纪律复原的嘀嘀咕咕，她忙着宣布着自己的发现。
And I also found this interesting report. It tells a lot about the storm and the numbers.
Oh, will this be helpful to Burton? Show it to me.
苏富比将一叠泛黄的纸张递了过来。这份报告没有起始，但上面的笔迹工整而清晰，似乎可以从中窥见记录者一丝不苟的性格。
I have to say, it is undoubtedly a violation to submit such a report, but it will be a travesty of the truth and human sense if I cover it up.
Peace, sense, justice. They have always been the creeds in my heart, and are now the reason why I have decided to write down the whole thing. A long time has passed since the first attack of the most severe crisis in our time, but we are still wondering. That was the eve of the millennium, of which no one had any memories, illogically. The next day, time was already reversed to 1996, the moment we opened our eyes. We walked out of the building made of grey and white marble as usual, hardly aware that the sun we bathed in was from another time. Our survival was unexpected and almost unbelievable in such a calamity which swept the globe. Why did the headquarters of the Foundation survive the reverse? Why couldn't we find our younger selves in the outside world? Did any other region survive it as we did? What was the cause behind this calamity? I didn't know, nor did anyone else. Things remained unclear until time was reversed again. This time, we all witnessed that reign in the 80s.
These files Burton needs?
I think so.
他的声音藏在细微的颤抖。秩序冷静的纪律服员，鲜有如此慌乱的时刻。
It's a report written by someone who witnessed the storm. And it has recorded the storms before Burton became the timekeeper.
《湿透的科学》在一场糟糕至极的瓢泼大雨后，你很难再保持冷静。
Before she became the timekeeper? Whoa. So Burton wasn't born a timekeeper.
She didn't tell you that? Wait, no one is born a timekeeper. It's not an inherited title. Anyway, this report includes the secret chronology only accessible to the core members of the Foundation. You can only check it under the supervision of the monitor assistant before you become a qualified investigator.
玛蒂尔达小心翼翼地铲去文件袋上的灰尘。
No matter what the reason is, it shouldn't have been shoved in this dusty room like rubbish. To evaluate its authenticity and risk, the genius Mathilda Boiniche will fulfill her duty as the monitor assistant and carry out a thorough inspection of this report. If you agree to this resolution, please nod, Assistant Sotheby.
这段话充满了晦涩而陌生的名词，但好在淑女早就已经决定自己的回答。
Yes.
That was 1985. A gloomy, miserable night compared to that peaceful morning in 1996, when we were only bothered by confusion. We didn't expect time to be reversed again. Nor did we understand the consequence. Even now, I still remember Paulina's desperate cry. One of her hands was already inside the safe area when she fell at the entrance to the headquarters. And that was the only part of her left to us the next second. And her favorite blue polka dot scarf, which we used to wrap her remains in the end. To be honest, I admired those who still remained calm and sympathized with the arcanists on the edge of mental breakdown. It had nothing to do with the 1/4 arcanist blood in my body. It was only the kind of empathy which all mankind would share out of instinct in the face of a hopeless calamity. We lost many, too many colleagues. In the materials they sent back, we even saw all the horrifying phenomena, such as one's veins turning into electric wires. Since then, the storm, a word simply taken from visual observation. Of course, we can have a word for the calamity itself. But what words should we use to conclude all the absurdity and panic? Before the storm, we were all familiar with time. It was supposed to be a straight line connecting the past and the future. We followed the line to move forward. We broke free from ignorance. We built civilizations. We developed technologies. We promoted the well-being of mankind. And we improved our living conditions step by step. But then, the path was taken away all of a sudden. Oh, time. Our closest old friend, where are you taking us? Back to the 2 most painful war times in the 20th century? The era when no one had ever heard the hiss of steam engines? Or the century when mankind was yet to be enlightened? So far, mankind has achieved a lot in history. Dynamos, automobiles, flyovers, railways, hospitals, poorhouses. But if it goes on like this, what is the point of all the efforts we have made? Now we are like a shipwreck left on the island of time, witnessing the fall of the whole modern world in the unstoppable tsunami. Even though the Foundation has lost a lot of staff members, they are still doing fine compared to Laplace. My younger brother was a good example. He was the most sensible person I have ever known. On the first day of the second reverse, he told me,
"At least we have reaffirmed that Newton was right. There was never an arrow of time in classical mechanics. Neither in relativity nor quantum mechanics. That means this is absolutely normal. Whether the time goes backwards or forwards, even if it starts spinning around like a tabletop football player. They're not against the law of physics. We can go back in time and give Poincaré a medal of great profit."
The next day, he almost fell off the 6th floor due to excessive drinking. All the perceptions of time and space developed to this day were overthrown. We couldn't find any theories to explain the storm in any existing researches. Either we've been completely wrong all the time, or we've come to a brand new world. And this new world can never make sense in the way of science, or that of physics. It cannot be verified by an independent third party. And is it true that we have been going the wrong way? Is it true that those once proven wrong by history, those arcanists who claim to possess gnosis, are actually on the right path? In fact, the one who put an end to the chaos was indeed not a human. This thing, I had no idea what it was. It claimed to be a machine which never stops working. It laughed at the limitations of our brains and the metaphysical mistakes we make ceaselessly. But it did solve the most urgent issue. A system was built to tackle storm-relevant emergencies after it took charge of Laplace. The first measure it adopted was contacting all the existing branches of the Foundations at the time to confirm the scale of available manpower. Then it built observation stations all over the globe to find if there were any other regions immune to the storm. After that, numerous offices responsible for deducing the cause of the storm were established. Even though there were countless disagreements during the research, at least we had taken the first step. I handed in the application to take part in this mission, determined to get rid of the fog in my mind. In 1986, I was assigned to the office in Egypt. All my friends came to the dock to see me off, because we knew it could be the final goodbye. Even though we were equipped with the emergency communication devices issued by Laplace, we were still not clear when the storm would assault us, or where we could hide nearby. What really scared me was not the threat to my life, but the possibility of dying ignorant. Then I boarded the ship to Alexandria from Athens. Now when I recall it, it was almost impossible to ignore that group of arcanists on the ship. There were about a dozen of them, all in eccentric stitched robes. They were followers of a strange school which mixes arcanum and mathematics. I talked to them. No matter how much that conversation bewilders me now, I was more excited than confused at the time. They also survived the storm in 1996, and they noticed the unusual changes taking place in the world as well. That means I actually met another group of survivors.
抱歉，半夜的手指戛然停下。
Wait! A school of arcanists who survived the storm?
"通天之塔，大多数时候语言不通只是人与人之间最微不足道的障碍。
A mixture of arcanum and mathematics. The ship on the Mediterranean. Unbelievable. Our investigator actually met this group of arcanists who believed in numbers, and even left such a precious record down on paper.
Does it mean we are close to being helpful to Virgin?
纪律辅员的第一助手发出欢呼。
Certainly, it's what we deserve for all the efforts today. But why did they leave such an important report in the reference room storing unnecessary information? Did they misput it here after the chaos of the storm?
马蒂尔达收起困惑，翻开记录的下一页。
Among them, the most easygoing one was Hugh. He was an engineer as well as an arcanist. We shared the same preference for human technology, and that became our common topic. Hugh was in his 30s, red-haired, cheeks sunken, and deeply depressed due to some kind of eye disease. He was a decent man, with a prudent attitude, working at a desk most of the time. He reminded me of the imperial miniature painting artists in the Sultan's palace. Most of them ended up blind after toiling for their life. He showed me the picture of his daughter. I don't have children, but I could feel his happiness as a father. Although I got along well with Hugh, he seemed quite out of place among that group, which was actually led by her. I don't know what words to use to describe her. She was like a meteor shower, a tempest, or an unreasonable catastrophe itself. Please forgive me for my cowardice. Even now, I don't have the courage to write down her name. In fact, she was quite a kind, warm-hearted person. Among all the unregistered arcanists I've met, she was one of the nicest ones towards the Foundation. She looked young, even though I heard she had a daughter too. Besides, she still possessed the innocence of a child, and that kind of excitement exclusive for genius. That's right. It seemed the whole world was like a sparkling toy to her.
现在是在讲苏菲亚父母的故事吗？
Our communication was heart-stirring at the beginning. Both of us were eager to find out what was happening, like two shipwrecked victims grappling at each other on the sea. But I didn't have the slightest idea what she was talking about, actually. The problem was not the typical communication issues between humans and arcanists. I was sure the language we used didn't pose any obstacles, but still I couldn't understand any words of hers. I would believe that one is highly intelligent if one can name all the factors of 11,567 without thinking. But what this one said was illogical nonsense which no one could ever imagine. She claimed that there is a world of numbers, above all else, where the non-physical essences of all things exist in the form of timeless, absolute, unchangeable ideas, and that the physical world where the time flows is nothing but an appendage. And that's why the chaos in this world is not worth any attention, and we should focus on what happened to the supreme existence. What an utter disaster combining modern maths with ancient superstition. I saw another hubristic arcanist pretending to be the prophet by reliving Platonism. I don't even bother to mention the balderdash on soul numbers. Even the New Age movement could use some of her absurdity. But that was not yet the end. She even claimed to be aware of the exact year when the next reverse would happen. But when I asked her about it seriously...
My apologies. I've made an oath. I shall and only shall reveal the demonstration to people who have their own soul numbers.
I'm not sure whether she was making fun of me or being serious, but I had this feeling that she was eager to tell me how she was granted the secret. It seemed she just saw through the laws behind all things instead of finding them through logical deduction.
Can't you see it? It is right in front of you.
After I expressed my inability to comprehend her words 30 times, she finally gave up and proffered regrets. What really irritated me about her, however, was her contempt towards science. And as far as I'm concerned, the value of a theory lies in its reliability, universality, and generalizability. Our pursuit of the truth has laid the foundation of modern science, allowing us to change the world. Yet, in her eyes, the value of a theory lies in its... I talked to her on the current situation, and I told her how we would save lives and preserve the hard-earned technology of mankind if we could find the pattern of the storm. It was of course not an easy thing to do, and would take enormous manpower, so I asked her sincerely to join the Foundation. Yet again she responded with contempt. She believed they would only become another military squad of the Foundations.
Darling, maths are beautiful for their uselessness.
纯粹的数学之所以美丽，就在于它一点用也没有。
That's why it remains noble and graceful in this sordid world, despite you humans' reckless action of using it to calculate ballistic.
She turned down my invitation and left an unfairly negative comment on our storm observation project.
The observation stations you built are destined to be toppled because their basis is the fragile world that follows the laws of physics. The efforts you've made are like nails on a sand beach, which will only be carried away by the next tidal wave.
But I said, perhaps our efforts are in vain, but someone has to do it. We will try every corner of the beach before making the conclusions that the world we are living in is already a hopeless ruin.
What a pragmatic, rigorous, and rational speech. But dear, the world is a hopeless ruin.
The conversation ended in disagreement. I don't know why arcanists hate the world so much. Perhaps the reason is they have never been truly accepted.
The world built on past experiences has ended. In your words, which you used to mock us, why not embrace the reality?
Yet about the gnosis which she deeply believed in, and the so-called prophecies she made through numbers, she had never given any proofs or details that showed rigorous logic. And the reason for her inactions was an oath she had made before some stone? Therefore I believed her words were only the nonsense of a lunatic. When we first met, I thought she was different from all those psychos, who mistook the malfunction of their prefrontal cortex as the will of God. In the name of human sense, I swore everything she said was absurd and ridiculous to me. Until...
直到下一次暴雨来袭吧。
Madame Z said the arcanists on that island are all named after numbers, because they have a strong belief that numbers are the essence of their souls. The investigator wouldn't write down her name. Is it because of the conflict between their beliefs?
马蒂尔达迫不及待地翻到下一页，就像是在检查在校生违规带入课堂的小说。现实却让他的期待落了空。
That's all?
兴许是戛然而止的冒险故事，又或者是白白落了一场空的欢喜，令纪律府员焦急地攥紧了手帕。
Submitting such an unfinished report would only cause problems for the reviewers and evaluators, but this investigator didn't even write down their name.
Don't worry, Ms. Burnish. I'm familiar with this situation. Every time, after the brave Typhon defeats Jupiter, he returns to the Auto Island. But each time we twist the ear of Mr. Glassbox, Typhon will show up again and again. Ms. Moisson told me. The ear is the key to bringing back our hope.
Wait, don't tell me you are talking about the shows on the mechanical television?
罔顾纪律府员的疑惑，热情的小淑女开始左顾右盼，似乎在寻找着那寄予希望的河廓。
Stop, Miss Sotheby. Please, take a seat on the cushion and listen to me carefully. This is a detailed report written by a formal investigator of the Foundations, not some TV show full of cliffhangers. That means we will definitely find the rest somewhere.
Oh, I see. Must be a Coco treant who took away the other part of the book. Usually, they will be attracted by Luna Fixer, and by following their traces, we'll find their lairs in the stable.
You mean someone took it away? That's highly possible. Data loss is not allowed in the Foundation, especially under the Monitor Assistance Management.
We must prepare Luna Fixer. Don't forget their favorite jigging magical beans. I don't have those materials with me right now, but I can write to them. It only takes a month.
这番跳跃的对话，着实使严谨的纪律府员有些难以忍受。
We don't need that.
马蒂尔达深呼吸一口气，坚定地掏出自己的水晶球，他的脸上浮现了志在必得的笑容。
You've perfectly accomplished the task from me when you found this valuable report. Well done, Assistant Sotheby. Now it's time for the great Matilda to show a little bit of her greatness.
接下来用水晶球偷看人。白日航船，你能见到无数位伟大的占卜师，在真正的答案揭晓以前。白天当然没有月光，但谁说占卜不能咨询太阳
？Judging from the omen, it's at the northwest, the beginning and the ending of the ring, where the wall reflects repeatedly.
马蒂尔达小心地捧着水晶球，试图解读里面模糊不清的光景。苏弗比好奇地跟在他身后。
The northwest of SPDM. This one is straightforward. The beginning and the ending of the ring is not a problem either. The icon of the computing center is exactly the Ouroboros, a serpent eating its own tail. Here we are. But where the wall reflects repeatedly, does that mean a closed room with mirrors? The mirror in the display center is a huge kinescope in the wall. And the one in the airtight laboratory is a crystal clear observation window. The one in the rehab center? No. The mirrors in the operation room have been replaced with
curved electronic screens of steel structure after that Xenopilot made a scene. So, where is the answer?
马蒂尔达转了个圈，试图让水晶球的显影变得更清晰一点。一阵银白的疾风掠过他的身侧，差点让水晶球打落在地。
Hey! You just hit me! Shouldn't you apologize?
Where did you come from, dork? Wasting my time.
险些撞到马蒂尔达的男人只是咒骂了一声，便捂着口鼻，急匆匆地离开了。
What? How could he say that? That's rude!
That gentleman doesn't look well. He's covering his face. His nose is running with purple liquid. Oh dear. Did he drink a whole bottle of purple Chrysandra juice? He needs treatment immediately. Oh, if only I had brought the Phoenix Heart Nerves with me.
He ran towards the rehab center. Nothing to worry about. Just another patient trying to prove he has recovered.
慌忙的人影早已消失得无影无踪，似乎没有任何人注意到这风波。
The rehab center has all the facilities and medicines he needs. He will be properly treated. But why is he wearing the uniform of Laplace? And where's the receptionist here?
科算中心的大厅寂静无声，网络繁忙的前台不见人影，只有自动认证装置在闪着银色的光。
Does everyone go to the weekend party night?
临时的调查员好奇的探头探脑，似乎打定主意的要在某个角落找出一台派对留声机。
Absolutely not. The researchers here are too busy to do that. The computing center is working on the most urgent and vital project, the research on the immunity to the storm. We should not disturb them unless it's an emergency. So please stop calling the office and put down the telephone, Miss Sotheby. This is not the ear of a tea kettler, and it won't take you to any twist balls.
连番的发生的鸡同鸭讲，显着消耗纪律复原的耐心。
Je sais que les débutantes, mais quand même, elle est trop bizarre. Guide new members with caution and patience. Trigger the afflatus at the right time. J'avoue que Verten a remporté une victoire temporaire sur ça.
欢欣的足步声回到马蒂尔达的身后，打断他的小声嘀咕。
Miss Bullish, I just read the map on the counter. You mentioned where the wall reflects repeatedly. Does the vision refer to the racquetball center here? You see, its icon is a bouncing ball.
Let me take a look. Found it! This is really the right direction. Next, empty boxes, glasswares, and copper pieces. Looks like our destination has piles of metal.
水晶球上的预兆越发清晰，这昭示着他们走向正确的方向上。继续复原的心情也随之大好。
Good job, Assistant Sotheby. I have to say, I might have gone a bit too hard on you. You are more capable than I thought. Thanks to your prompt reminder, we have saved quite some time.
Sotheby is glad to help.
小淑女在一旁蹦蹦跳跳，目光始终好奇地停留在马蒂尔达的水晶球上。
Miss Bulanish, since you're such a talented diviner, why don't you just divine the reason for the storm with your inherited arcanum ability? According to Ms. Moisson, the reason still remains a mystery. If the crystal orb can reveal its truth, everything will be much easier for Vertin and her team.
Divine the reason for the storm?
意想不到的名词令大占卜师一个列举列解，这字什么啦？险些将水晶球失手打落啊！
That's impossible for sure. It's a typical mistake of laymen to believe one can see everything through divination. You are an expert on potions and arcane creatures. but you have little knowledge on other subjects. Haven't you received any systematic education on Arcanum?
Education on Arcanum? I'm of course well educated in Arcanum, with Ms. Morsel as my tutor, and my arcane friends such as Typhon from the Auto Island, Jupiter, and... Alright, enough.
马蒂尔达摇摇头，阻止了苏富比再说出一个无人听闻的神秘动物的学名。
I have understood the fact that the education you have received is not systematical, or say incomplete, imperfect, inelegant. But don't worry, because you are talking to the kind-hearted Matilda. She will spend her valuable time to make it up for you.
了不起的协助教员清了清喉咙，开始回忆自己12岁课堂上的内容。
In fact, the system of Arcanum knowledge is not completely separated from that of human science. For example, the modern pharmacy and chemistry actually originated from the experiments of potions and alchemy in the ancient times. They developed into two different systems because arcanists focused more on the knowledge ignored by scientists. The knowledge we learn from divination is exactly under this category.
Wow.
苏富比的眼睛兴奋了，睁大了。马蒂尔达掏出笔记本，有模有样的在上面勾勒了几笔。
Let me fill you in with more details. If two human researchers test Snell's law at two different places at the same time without making any mistakes, they will always reach the same conclusion. Or if two potionists use the same ingredients and follow the same formula to make the cough cough stop stop potion separately, their products will also have similar effects. However, if two diviners respectively perform divination on the same thing, they will probably see totally different visions. Because what the divination shows is merely omens. The interpretation of these omens is in fact a kind of subjective deduction based on the reality, and there is no such thing as a standard answer. Even if the two diviners draw the same conclusion, it is more of a coincidence than a result that implies generalizability. So diviners never check the accuracy of their divination through the review of peers. And this is an example of gnosis. Unlike human sense, it is unique and possesses no universality.
马蒂尔达收起笔记本，对苏富比晃了晃手指。
In other words, even if someone finds out a reason for the storm through divination, they can't have other diviners verify it, because 100 different diviners will give out 100 different conclusions. The scene will be even busier than a concert at Musikverein. That being said, the more possible result we get from the divination is nothing. Divination cannot bring knowledge which the diviners have never learned. The divination of such world-class knowledge, as complicated as the reason for the storm, can only be performed by world-class diviners. We may find one or two diviners like that if time continues to be reversed, like Nostradamus. But he lived in the 16th century. Besides, even Nostradamus is not always right.
But Miss Boaniche is. Thanks to your divination, we're getting closer and closer to that report, right?
You are right! Finding items, interpreting dreams, and making simple prophecies. All these things are just a breeze for the bright and clever Matilda. But inquiring about the storm is beyond my ability, and it will only bring misfortune. I will never make such a stupid mistake.
马蒂尔达又恢复了意气风发的神色。
In fact, this half of the report and the handwriting of the author are perfect divination media. Besides, our target is not far away from us, and I'm familiar with the surroundings, which have made things much easier than usual. It is true diviners can improve the accuracy and controllability of their gnosis by practicing repeatedly, holding the rituals properly, and making targeted preparations. But that still doesn't mean...
苏富比似懂非懂的点了点头。马蒂尔达一面解读着水晶球的预兆，灵巧的带他再次转过了一个弯。
The report says that person who mentioned the School of Numbers claimed she was enlightened about the year of the next storm. Is that also by divination?
I am not sure what kind of arcane skills they used, but numbers are indeed a kind of omen too. I am not talking about the specific knowledge of mathematics, but the numbers themselves, because they are even more abstract than images and languages as kind of symbol. Even so, there is no way for us to verify this prophet, unless it really comes true. That is also why it takes almost nothing to spread a prophecy. My mother told me many people in the outside world write to the Foundation every day, claiming to be prophets who can predict the doomsday and thus requesting unemployment benefits.
The doomsday? Unemployment benefits? Oh my! The outside world is far more wonderful than I thought. How fascinating! This Boanish is even greater than I expected.
You bet! Wait, did you mean I was not the greatest?
走廊已至尽头，马蒂尔达收回水晶球，在一扇没有门牌的木门前站定。壁球活动中心的隔壁间，这是预兆指示的最终点。
Here we are, Miss Sotheby. Now, this is the moment to verify the result of my divination.
吱呀，他轻轻地推开了门。
If you look at the ground after the
目所
rain,
能及的
you
雨
can often see a wet, long trail, like this one. At the end of the trail, there may be a snail slowly crawling forward. Yes, forward. The snail marks the direction for us. But what if we don't see any snails at either end? How are we going to distinguish the direction to the future from that to the past? Criterion. Well said, darling. To figure something out, you always need to make deductions based on facts and logical reasoning. What you see is not necessarily true, but what is logical is, because we haven't witnessed or experienced anything illogical so far. Yet this point was firmly believed by those researchers who worked in the house like canned sardines. It remained true to them until the first drop of rain rose. The sardines suddenly... Whatever they used to mend the can, there was still a crevice left between the inside and the outside, and it could be ripped open again at any time. The chaos didn't last. If it really was the rain that swept away the snail and messed up time, then we should look at the silver lining. Does it mean we will find out the truth of time once the secret of the rain is revealed? There has never been a shortcut like this one, since time is only an intangible concept. So then, observation stations were built all over the globe. The staff learned how to collect and keep the valuable samples efficiently, in no time. The little boxes they used to store the raindrops are still being upgraded even now. Order and silence were brought back to the labs. Every piece of gear was placed back on the right track. It was a grand feat, and no one could have accomplished it inside this huge, cumbersome machine, except another machine. She took no sides and sought only predictable results. That's why she made a decision as soon as she read that report and its attachment on her desk. The former was about a delicate component which flapped like a butterfly in that huge machine. And then she stored the information on her hard disk and destroyed the report. And the paper which claimed to have recorded the locations where the storm might happen, yes, the one with the butterfly-like drawings, was retained for data comparison. It seems she's satisfied with the result.
第五小章，缄默的重要调词，我就是掉了。那无形的手高举着，就轻易摘下一颗心来。问号问号问号，光线很昏暗。到处都堆满了档案柜和文件，以及拉普拉斯风格的古怪装置，像是一个无人使用的杂物间。
Where are we? Lost and found at the racquetball center.
玛蒂尔达驱赶着空气中的灰尘，在摇摇欲坠的文件柜下艰难行走。
The orb showed copper pieces.We need to find something that seems to be locked, but is actually not. Found it! Nothing can stop the genius, Matilda.
他在一个生锈的抽屉里找到了熟悉的笔记，而这份记录显然放在这里已经很久了。它的角落早已受潮卷曲，所幸字迹仍然清晰。
The trip to Egypt didn't go smoothly. The ship was hit by a common storm at sea. We were lost in the fog after that, completely off course. Then something emerged from the water. Since the first storm, the Foundation has received frequent sightings of arcane creatures, which should have been extinct in history. I had no idea what I was shooting at, even after I emptied the clip. And I didn't know what to do. Those arcanists brought us back on course. She names the precise longitude and latitude of our location, even without using the sextant in the spare cabin. I wonder how she did that. Perhaps the world did look different in her eyes. Then when I was about to step on a random plank on the ship, she suddenly dragged me back. But the next second, the plank broke. I was stunned, and asked her how she saw that coming. She just answered me as if we were talking about the weather.
Because that plank is deformed like a rhombus.
I was confused. Where is the rhombus? She laughed.
The rhombus can't be seen with eyes. You shall close your eyes, hearken to the teaching of the Supreme Existence, and seize the moment of afflatus.
Of course, I didn't see anything. Nor did I understand what the moment of afflatus was. Perhaps it's just another privilege enjoyed by arcanists. Nevertheless, she reached the correct conclusion in a completely wrong way. Is it really possible? Anyway, she saved my life. But that was not enough to settle the differences between us. She remained rejective to working with the Foundation. And I finally gave up on the attempt to persuade them. My mission on that trip was not to make contact with them. Besides, what we needed was builders of the storm observation system. As for the shelter they took from the storm, she wouldn't say a word, as if she were dealing with a spy who pried to find out the deepest secrets of the Arcanists. In the end, Hugh mediated between us. He gave me an address in Istanbul to which I could send the letters to contact them. After that, I spent more than half a year in the Egypt office. Things were even worse there than I expected. Some have gone missing after the storm. The people who were supposed to be in the Egypt office, according to the member list stored in the headquarters in 1985, were not there when I arrived. The situation could be caused by the limitations of the transmission of paper-based materials, or because the computer was not yet popularized to every corner of the globe at the time. Besides that, the chaos inside Laplace. I learned that someone published the paper Samplings of Global and Regional Chaotic Energy Route Changes. Apparently they secretly used our sampling sites, yet their research direction and conclusion were radically different from Laplace's. The researchers equally divided into two schools. One sticking to the human technologies they have focused on. At the time, it was still too early to decide which direction was right, without sufficient experimental data. But many already believed that if time continued to be reversed, human technology would only keep falling into decline, while Arcanum, which relies on personal ability, would rise again. It's true that Gnosis cannot be copied, verified by an independent third party, or comprehended through reasoning. Its nature decides that it cannot lay the foundation of science or be popularized to every ordinary person. It takes solid marble to build a castle, not slippery sand. Even so, what harm will it do to rely on Arcanum when the underlying logic of all things has become unreasonable? Before the disagreement was settled, the storm in 1987 was predicted. We were ordered to return to the headquarters 24 hours before its arrival, but the prediction was not accomplished by Laplace. The captive from Manus Vindictae names the precise date of that storm. Our enemies, those lunatic xenophobes, valuing only pure blood, made it further than we did. Yes, we built observation stations, we made countless deductions, we developed multiple simulation models. We made efforts, we sacrificed life. We did whatever we could. Yet the result was that we didn't find any other regions immune to the storm, except the headquarters and another one in North America. In the end, 95% of the branch members were reversed. 87. In conclusion, our endeavor brought no achievements. As for the captive from Manus Vindictae, the delirium patient who claims that oracles flowed under his parietal bone, when we asked him how he learns the precise date of the storm, he burst into laughter.
Can't you hear it? Has God left you behind when he spread his grace?
Then he smashed his own skull with a handcuff. Yes, there was no doubt. He was an incurable lunatic. But his insane nonsense was exactly the reason we survived the storm again. No matter how unreasonable or illogical it was, or how much a lie it sounded like. So we'd better believe we shouldn't go out in black today because the fish is swimming in the water. We'd better believe in the existence of the non-physical, everlasting, transcendent world where everyone's soul is a number. We'd better believe in the supreme existence which caused the disorder of time by merely casting its shadow. That means the life of individuals means nothing more than rubbish, and the world is but an imperfect ruin, where only the chosen ones will pass the trial, where the rest will be eliminated by the rain. How am I supposed to do that? Finally, I made up my mind to write to her. I didn't expect her to answer my questions. All I wanted was to confirm if she had survived that storm, for the sake of our peaceful talk about the rhombus. Yet what I heard from them was a simple announcement of her death, with only 2 words. She died. Then it burned and turned to ashes in a second. On the same day, the first and only timekeeper who just took office, the 12-year-old child,
顺便衔接了第3章的故事。
She told us the time in the outside world at that point, and that was how I knew she was right.
It is right in front of you.
But if there is a God, why are you playing such a prank on us after we had suffered from the collapse of all the existing orders and the failure of all the great laws? If this is what she calls a glimpse of the supreme existence, the moment of afflatus, do you have to present it in such a cruel way? The last 2 digits in the number of the year after that storm were exactly her name. And her 77.
77。记录就此中断，结束了2个飞扬出去的树之伤。
Incroyable! Incroyable! C'est vrai! Quelqu'un a vraiment fait cette prophétie! Ertin and Soneto will be thrilled to know what we found! Well done, Miss Sotheby! You performed as well as a formal investigator! We need to submit this report to your instructor immediately!
马蒂尔达赶紧纸张从忘我的激动中扭过头去，站在那里的却不是苏弗比。
What are you doing in other people's rooms?
记录被粗暴地从手里抽走了。
This is my personal item. You have no rights to take it. Please leave immediately.
Personal item? This is a precious record that should have been submitted to the Foundation. According to Administration and Regulations for Dispatch Personnel, St. Pavlov Foundation Decree number 259, every member of the Foundation, when acting as a field investigator, is required to create a comprehensive investigation report of all their actions and promptly submit it.
And they are obliged to ensure the authenticity, objectivity, and impartiality of the report. No, if you have read this report, miss, you should know that it's not even qualified to be filed.
But this is an emergency!
鲍鱼改革法通过时间并不长，可以第一时间引用的条文也不多。纪律府员拼命的在脑中搜索用于反击的条文，而研究员只是已经讥讽的抬起眉毛。
I can tell from your uniform, you are a student of SPDM, or... This is Laplace. Do you have your guardian's approval to leave the school, Miss Underage Student?
Approval? I don't need that. I am not a student. You are talking to the exceptionally promoted monitor assistant of SPDM. Here is my ID.
马蒂尔达士气如虹的举起了卡片，而对方只是路过了他，在转椅上坐下，开始摆弄桌上益智摆件。
Did you just ignore a formal administrator of the Foundation? This monitor assistant will report every misbehavior of yours. Every little bit of them.
纪律府员陷入了难言的困窘，他四处张望，却发现苏富比的身影正不在旁。好在他一手指导的助理已经领先领悟了他所有的教诲。半开的门外，稚嫩的声音正雀跃地报告着
Miss Moisson, we found that report here. The great Miss Buanish and I discovered some important information. I came to you and Madame Z immediately after we read it. Miss Buanish, why are you confronting Mr. Chair?
苏富比将头往旁一歪，他身后站着两个成年的访客。
I didn't expect to see the second half of that report here in your room, Adler.
这是个不能当作没听到的声音，椅子慢慢腾腾地软了过来。
Don't call me that, friend. Why not just call me Enigma, just like everyone else? Relax. I know nicknames mean no harm. But I don't understand. How is a report filled with meaningless words of any concern to you, Madam Z?
It provides information about the Arcanist group Virgin is now dealing with. If possible, please give it to me.
Of course. How can I turn down a request from Constantine's chief of staff? Take it away. I hope you don't mind the mold on it.
研究员并未转椅上起身，只是随意的将报告往旁一扬。例行是温和的笑了笑，像在庆谢对方尚未就时的锋刃。但纪律府员显然不会容忍如此违反规章的行为。
Please pay attention to your manners and do not bring disgrace to the computing center, Mr. Rude.
莫桑女士适时地拍了拍她的肩膀，向门外的方向简单示意。
Ms. Buanish, Ms. Sotheby, you've done a great job. I'm sure what you have found would be of great help to Timekeeper. And I will report your active performance in this mission to SPDM as soon as possible, Miss Buanish. We need to further analyze the files you found. The first on the scene could provide more detailed information. Let's get out of here.
Contribution exceptionnelle!
年轻的纪律府员几乎被这个词冲昏了过去，再也没注意到其他的话语。
Oh là là, exceptionnel! Non, non. Calme-toi, Mathilda. I didn't accomplish it alone. Assistant Sotheby also played a significant role. Hooray!
淑女小声的嘀咕被巨大的欢呼声打断了。
That is to say, Miss Buanish,
We can start preparing the balloons and flowers for the twist ball. Speaking of which, this monitor assistant still needs to think about it. By the way, just call me Matilda.
马蒂尔达吃力的将束缚别人热情的双手别开，脚步不稳的迈向走廊。年轻的女孩们吵闹着离开了。丽女士也慎重的收起那份得之不易的报告。研究员又回到了他的转椅前的壁垒中，隔着数排布满灰尘的杂物，他慢慢的开口了。
There will be no advance in human technology. You think so? Even the Madame Z has given up on the study of theoretical physics and become a politician.
No, I've never thought of that.
他转向来时的方向，带着若有似无的笑意。门关上了。还有啊，这应该最后的了。新航向，新的汽笛声又响了起来。无论如何，登船吧！所有的喧嚣插曲都离开了，这处阴冷的角落又恢复了寂静。研究员叹了一口气，开始收拾桌上杂乱的文件和沾灰的器械。是因为太过凌乱才会被误以为是杂物间的吗？门口响起了清脆的脚步声。
I am astonished by the fact that you are interacting with others.
又是一个不征求意见便随便闯入房间的人。
They broke in.
拉普拉斯的总负责人不置可否地耸了耸肩，他已在走廊上了解到必要的资讯。
If it was a complaint that you were making, you know it is within your rights to submit an interdepartmental complaint within 7 days after the incident.
Don't bother. That file means nothing to me. I didn't file it because it is a report against the rules. Why bother to submit such a log full of personal feelings and emotional behaviors to our great, rigorous foundation?
Is that so? I am gratified to find that you still have some sense.
I too am gratified that you still have no idea that I was being sarcastic.
Oh, that was sarcasm.
Never mind. What do you want from me, Madam Lucy?
研究员弯下腰，开始捡起那些因无人关心而躺在地上许久的凌乱纸张。这是他最高规格的迎宾礼遇。
You went all the way to this dusty, rundown place so hurriedly that you even forgot to put on that pathetic mask. This is not because of some old files, I assume.
无脸的机器微微联手，似乎在赞同这番话的合理性。
Certainly. I hope you can be the cryptographer of the Manus Vindictes ritual. You are still the best.
You are asking me, a human, to decode the ritual of a pureblood arcanist group? I don't see how I'll be helpful to this project.
You cannot evaluate your own level of being of value, Adler.
研究员头也不抬，只是继续的把更多沾灰的文件摊在桌上。
Well, you evaluate our value. Test us in experiments you set. Prove the hypotheses by exhaustion. Make mistakes and start all over again. You repeat the process like a roaring locomotive that pulls the research center out of this chaotic disaster. You question not what is ahead of you, nor whether the path you've taken will be regular or easy. The only idea you planted into your little brain is to move forward, to improve.
Thank you for your compliment. Credit goes to everyone.
That was not even a... Miss Mirgara, guess you agree. A life without creativity is not worth living. And that's the life that I wake up to every day. I'll never be able to combine human technology and Arcanum. And I'll never comprehend even the slightest part of it. I am useless to you,
他将文件收拢，在桌上扣出粗暴的声响。
I don't expect someone made of tin to understand the human mind, but I beg of you, leave me alone.
机器并未理睬这番情绪化的发言。
The work of analyzing the masks of Manus Vindictae did a side effect occurs in the researchers, and it is getting worse. The isolation wards on the basement level are overwhelmed.
What a scene. Have you aborted the experiment?
Not yet. We have conducted the Arcanum imaging experiment on the masks. But knowing what it is composed of does not help explain how it works. What we're looking for is the original ritual that the Manus cast on them.
You are trying to figure out one's career planning from one's physical examination report. Even if somehow you manage to find the original ritual, you still need a proper environment to test it, which is...
研究员的眼睛里闪烁着讥笑的智慧光芒。
That's why we can't tell if we're getting results. Even if we had the right ritual, proper permission from the Foundation to travel, and strong-minded volunteer subjects, experiments performed in the Ivory Tower won't succeed because...
An experiment about the storm can only be done in a storm. Glad to see your brain is not rusty yet. It only took you 3 sentences to draw the conclusion which took the seminar a week to reach. That proves you are capable of the project.
总负责人将一份档案放到桌上。
The history maintenance team has forecast different critical points of this storm. Foundation investigators are on their way. If Manus Vindictae still plans to accelerate the storm, like what they have done in 1929, there will be a high possibility that their people will show up at the transformation point of history and society. Your sister, Greta Hoffman, is also one of the investigators.
I have no interest in any Hoffmans other than myself. We have different perspectives.
It is okay. I am just here to inform you that if any of the investigators successfully send the information of the ritual back, the research about the immunity of the storm will be take your time and be mentally prepared. But once the storm alert is issued, we only have 24 hours to verify the feasibility of the ritual. I wish you will be fully prepared by then.
他迈着钢铁的脚步离开了，并未留下任何拒绝的空间。研究员将目光移向那份档案，最上方的那张照片的面容还算熟悉。他拉开抽屉，从中拿出一张残页，这是尚未交出的最后一份密码。
One thing is for sure now. The age of humans has come to an end.
The end 我们的特别篇也把它给看完啦。430是最高哦，那我只剩中间的小小的东西而已啦，还有这些困难模式。
The soil has become. My family and I walked among humans and arcanists.
好啦，我们今天又把所有的章节故事都看完啦，很期待下一章节啊！章节战争的开启啊！重塑之手把人类带到这个与世隔绝的神秘学家数学的，我怎么称呼他们？他们团体叫什么忘记了？反正下一章节，神秘学家基金会跟重塑之手开战，然后再加上那个数学家。好，那我们今天的游戏实况就到这边。如果喜欢我的实况，帮按赞、订阅、分享。我们明天见喽，拜拜。